2.4, we're going to talk about mixture and uniform motion applications. So mixture problems, you can have different types, but the kind that we're going to start talking about here are the value problems. So you have dimes and nickels, say, dimes and nickels. No, that's not how to spell nickels. Dimes and pennies, dimes and nickels. And say you have, 7 dimes, 9 nickels. Well, how much money do you have? Well, each dime is going to be worth 10 cents, so 0.10. And each nickel is going to be worth 5 cents. So to find the amount of money, you have to take the value of the dime times how many you have, and that's going to be 70 cents. And then the value of the nickels is going to be 5 cents for each nickel, so that's going to be 45 cents. And then the total would be, what, $1.15? Okay, so that's the type of thing we're talking about. Now, hopefully that makes some sense, but, they're going to ask us a question that we're going to have to figure out. Okay, so, but that's the idea. So Jesse has $6.55 worth of quarters and nickels in his pocket. Okay, so he has quarters. I'll do Q for quarters and N for nickels. Okay, so each quarter is going to be 25 cents and each nickel is going to be 5 cents. So keep that in mind. The number of nickels is 5 more than 2 times the number of quarters. So the number of nickels is going to be 5 more than 2 times the number of quarters. So when I wrote that Q down, I wasn't talking about how much money I have. I'm talking about how many actual coins I have. Do I have 10 quarters? Do I have 3 quarters? I don't know. And when I wrote the N, I'm talking about how many nickels I have. 10 nickels, 9 nickels, we don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. Because the question says, how many nickels and how many quarters does Jesse have? Okay, well, each quarter we know is 25 cents. So 0.25 times the quarters, how many he has. And each nickel is going to be worth 5 cents. But instead of putting N for nickels, I'm going to put 2Q plus 5 because that's what I'm representing. Now, if you wanted to take an intermediate step and put the N, and then on the next line put in the 2Q plus 5, that would be fine. But we have to have a representation of how many nickels we have, and that's what we're going to use. All of this together is going to equal $6.55 because that's how much money he has in his pocket. There's a lot of change to be carrying in his pocket, but okay. Now, one thing we could do here, we could do what we were talking about in another video where we clear the decimal. So I'm going to multiply this whole equation, both sides, the whole thing, both sides, by 100. And then that's going to get rid of that decimal for me. So I'm going to have 25Q because I'm going to carry it 2 places, so that's that part. Now when I go over here, I'm going to multiply it times that 0.05 plus, it's going to be 5 now, times 2Q plus 5. So we did an example like that when we were talking about clearing the decimals. So that's what we get. And then on the other side, the right-hand side, we're going to get 655. And that makes it just a little bit easier to get those decimals out of the way. So now we have 20, now it's just a good old equation, 25Q plus 10Q plus 25 equals 655. Not scrolling from 35Q, simplifying here, plus 25 equals 655. Now I'm going to subtract the 25 from both sides. So I get 35Q equals 630. Now I'm going to divide by 35. And I don't like the looks of this, but here's some good news. I can't have part of a quarter. I've got to have like either a whole quarter or not a whole quarter. So my answer has to come out to be a whole number. So let's just see. Pull out my calculator here. 630 divided by 35, 18. So he has 18 quarters. That's what that means. And it did come out to be a whole number. It had to. Otherwise, we would have made a mistake somewhere or a typo in the problem or something. Okay, so he has 18 quarters. Now, how many nickels does he have? Nickels, he has twice as many, 2 times the quarters plus 5. 5 more than twice the number of quarters. So n is going to equal 2 times 18 plus 5. N is going to equal 36 plus 5. N is going to be 41. So he's got 18 quarters. Jesse has 18 quarters and 41 nickels. Now, could you check this? Yeah, it's fairly easy to check. Go 18 times 25, that's how much money he has in quarters. 41 times 5, and that's how much money he has in nickels. See if it totals up to be 655. I'm not going to do that part. One more thing I was going to say. Okay, well, I think he should get a piggy bank because that's a lot of change to be carrying around.